Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy, Nate Weitzer, on the East Coast, where Game 5 just took place recently between the 76ers and Hawks. The game we'll be jumping into tonight for tonight is Game 6. A lot to talk about from Game 5. Looked a lot like Game 4, and the Hawks are surprisingly up 3-2 in this series. We'll jump into everything, including best bets and the like in that game. If you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those listings in your area and NBA playoff promo specials. And if you still are not yet liked and subscribed to the page, make sure you do so. Jump in the comments. Let us know who you guys are betting on as these crazy playoffs roll on. Nate, let's jump into Game 6.
Yeah, Philly is -3 right now on the road. Expected to pull it out, I guess, and force a Game 7. The Hawks are +130 at home, and the total is at 222. I guess it opened at -1.5 for Philly, and people are backing them. I don't know if they watched the same recap where you could pinpoint the exact moment Joel Embiid destroyed his knee again, trying to block Trae Young's floater with 4:30 left in the game. Was in visible pain, and from that point on, Philadelphia's offense went into shambles. The Hawks went on a 14-2 run and obviously won the game. Sixers have now given up an 18-point lead and a 22-point lead in consecutive games and been outscored 123-82 in the second half of those last two losses. I mean, the Hawks, Trae Young is a killer, right? You give him an inch, you give him an advantage, and he will find a way to make you hurt. And right now the Sixers are hurting. It's just a domino effect where when Embiid can't find his offense, these other guys don't necessarily know how to function, creating their own. Tobias Harris, I mean, what a disappointment in terms of, him supposed to step up. He scores 4 points on 2 of 11 shooting. Apparently, the Hawks are going to be just fine defending him without DeAndre Hunter. Ben Simmons refusing to take any shots in the fourth quarter. Just a liability at the free throw line. I think if Embiid is not healthy, you have to really worry about this Sixers offense more than anything against a Hawks team that's been fantastic on defense at home. With the exception of Game 2 of this series, when Embiid was, still on the good side of that meniscus tear, I guess, without the wear and tear that we've seen now. Yeah. So I'm looking at the under again, which is hit in consecutive games, because in part of that Embiid injury. I'm looking specifically at the Sixers to go under 111.5. And like I saw in Game 5, I think the Hawks can cover. It's a much smaller spread at 3. But for them to cover and to go under, we're talking plus 260 on your money at DraftKings. I think they should be favored given the health situation because, I mean, they have their guy. The Sixers have their guy playing on one leg, and they have not shown an ability to work around that. Just Joel Embiid too important to what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought Game 4 was going to be the anomaly, right? In that the way that the Hawks came back from that huge deficit, it seemed like, okay, well, if Embiid's good enough to play Game 5, then that means that, he was a little bit hurt at the end of Game 4, but maybe he just mostly ran out of steam on that, bum knee. The exact same thing happened in Game 5. It was not an anomaly. It was literally the exact same thing. You look at the difference in the first half and the second half, and definitely the first quarter as well. Even after the first quarter is when things really started to slow down. As soon as the second unit for Philly started the second quarter, they went pretty cold, and it wasn't until Embiid and Seth Curry got back on the floor in the second quarter. And look, the second quarter stats for Philly, they're glaring. Obviously, they continue to try to go through Embiid in the second half in a way that didn't work at all, the same way it didn't in Game 4 in the second half once he started to be slowed. And it might just be a case of he has 2 quarters on that knee right now, which is a partial tear, and then he can't continue to go. Then he gets enough rest to get the swelling down, be able to play, and I'm sure by the second quarter that thing is swollen all over again. So if that's the case, then you might be. I don't know if Doc will switch up the rhythm in terms of, all right, well then let's not come out and throw these haymakers in the first quarter with our guys. and look to, bring Embiid out early in the first quarter, not let him play deep into the first like he has been. Because at the end of the day, when the second half stats look as they are, it's really on the other guys, and wondering, can we get them involved earlier? Guys like Tobias Harris and Korkmaz. And the rest, like, can we get them in, and obviously Simmons, can we get them involved with the ball in their hands on offense early and save some of that Embiid for the end of the game? Nobody had any points in the second half for Philly other than Seth Curry and Joel Embiid in an NBA basketball game. That's insane. So when you that's glaring for both. Ben Simmons also at the free throw line, 4 for 14 in this game. Specifically in the second quarter, went 2 for 8, which is just, it's clear what's happening there. And if he's not going to be able to even take those free throws, that's going to continue to be the hack of Ben. Nate McMillan said, I've never done this before, but clearly this is a winning strategy for us. So, I think you definitely look 76ers under right now. I think, to me, as I said, I don't think Doc's going to come out with any different strategy. I think he is going to keep throwing those haymakers in the first quarter. And so I'm actually looking at maybe extending that spread in the first quarter Philly's way, -4. It's listed at -2. About even on your money, but if you bring that down to -4, you get about 2-1 on your money there on FanDuel. So I really like that one first quarter for Philly. And then I do like Trae Young, who's had incredible second halves. The complete opposite story of most of those Philly players. So I do like him to get over 10 assists at home. He had 18 the last time he played at home in this series. And then Bogey to have a rebound game. I did expect one sort of cold game from Bogdanovic when it's clear he's not scoring early, when they look to get him open early, get him hot, and get him almost about 10 points in the first quarter each time, except for last game. He had 5 shot attempts in the first quarter, missed all of them. But I don't expect him to continue that, especially at home. So I like him to hit his total of 17.5 points once again. Seth Curry, I'm going to keep riding him, 15.5 points as well. And that's going to continue to be my favorite because I love underrated little Seth.
Yeah, the Hawks have now gone under in 10 of their last 13 games, holding Philly because of that Embiid injury to an 85 offensive rating in the second half. These last two, only 96 possessions per 100. I think you love that trend, especially as a live bet to try to get some extra value there. I think just the Sixers, the way they're put together, doesn't necessarily work well in the playoffs without a lot of shooting. We are seeing Seth Curry get loose and shoot, but I think as the Hawks are able to adjust to really close out on Seth Curry, those other guys are not hurting them at the moment. And just due to the unique nature of this season where so many stars are injured, so many guys have carried a workload, they say young guys don't win in the playoffs too often. Well, this year it's happening. The Suns, the Hawks, they're having no problem because they have the fresh legs at this stage. And these teams continue to go every other night. Obviously, Embiid hurt. Who knows what other things some of the older Sixers are going through. Danny Green out. I trust the youth of the Hawks, and I think they actually will wrap this up in 6 games.
Wow, yeah. No, I'm not going to bet against you. I was not part of the cohort that brought that line down even further for Philly, betting on them after that. It opened at 1.5, as we said, and is all the way down to 3 right now. I was not part of that cohort, as I said. So I'm not feeling as good about Philly. I felt so good about them in Game 5, man. I think we all did. And both games, they fooled me as I felt good about them both the last 2 games. At this point, I don't think it's an anomaly that Embiid slows down when he does. The question is going to be what happens when that happens for Philly, specifically on offense. And, it's all just a cataclysm of things that happens once the offense goes for them. The Hawks get that, as young players, as you said, they get that confidence back as they continue to get stops on D. And that leads to Trae Young getting floaters and averaging 21 points and 8 assists in the second half of the last 2 games, which is incredible numbers, despite shooting really, really poorly from the outside. So credit to him once again for getting to the line, 17 and 19 free throws in the last game to really seal that thing for them. I continue to love that for them. So I'm not going to actually touch that line. I will take an under on the total, 222. Feel great about that. Even if we see 115 points scored in the first quarter, I'm still going to feel really good about under 220 in the second half, right? Or in the first half versus the second half. So At any rate, that's all the time that we have for this one, Nate. We will be back with another video for you shortly here with plenty of playoff action continuing to roll on. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Jump in the comments. We'll be in there seeing who you guys are betting on. Until then, happy betting.